Hey, my awesome, amazing people. Welcome back to Inspirational Reading Thoughts. Now, you seen that our timer was a little off. We had some technical difficulties today, but we here. Thank you for being here once again. We're reading Failing Forward by John Maxwell. It's just been an amazing awesome experience working with you guys, reading with you guys. Now, where we at? We are in chapter two. Get a new definition of failure and success. Redefine your definition, right? We often think about failing as ultimate, and we feel like it's the last thing we're gonna do, and sometimes it just gets into our heads, into our heart, and it seems like we're never gonna get ahead. A few points I want to remind us of. Uh, we were at the failures knot, and he gave us a few pointers. And we started with people think failure is avoidable. It is not. Then he gave us some rules on why is that. You will learn lessons. There are no mistakes, only lessons. And lessons repeated until it's learned. If you don't learn the easy lesson, they get harder. Then number five, you'll know you've learned a lesson where your actions change. So that's where we at. We continue to read. People think failure is an event. It is not. We continue to read, and we got into point number five and point number four and point number five, and the last few points that we finished with number four. We didn't get into number five too much, but point number four was people think failure is an enemy. It is not. He went to say failure is good. He said it's a fertilizer, something that Rick Pitino said, coach, a very known coach from the NBA. Everything I've learned about coaching, I've learned from making mistakes, he says. The fellow who never makes a mistake takes its order from one who does. That's what's said about from Herbert Brockno. Again, it's just a few points just to get our brain flowing back into what we're reading. Today is going to be a little bit different. We are actually not going to read. As technology advances, I wanted to use technology as to help us read a little bit more efficient. As you guys know, um, sometimes reading like this, letters get all crumbled up together. So I wanted to just make it simpler for me and for make it simpler for you guys. So what I'm gonna do is gonna have the computer actually read for us, and I'll do is interject into a couple of thoughts that I might have throughout the read. Also, guys, there is no time. Again, there's no time limit. There's no time restriction. We don't have an actual format for time. We want to be here approximately 20, 30, 40 minutes, depending on time allowance, depending on how the books is flowing. If I feel there's a place where I might need to stop, then I'll stop there and we'll continue it tomorrow. Again, this is just us, me, just reading like I would read normally, how I would think about what I'm reading. And you guys can join me and take some notes, uh, go back, reread if you have the book. If you don't have it, you can find it on Amazon. I'm not getting paid for it, so this is completely educational. I don't get paid for reading the book, and definitely John Maxwell's not paying me to read his books. But it was definitely maybe I'm not getting paid in cash money, but definitely in knowledge. I am getting paid. I'm really excited about what we're doing, and my hope is that we continue to read together. So let's get into it. We are in chapter 2.5. Failure is not. So let's go ahead and get started. Let's keep on reading. Let's see here. All right. So hopefully you guys can see that. Let me move a little bit. Let me go back and move it a little bit. There you go. Let me unlock this. Yeah, it seemed like it was a little bit off. Anyways, here you go. All right, a little bit better. All right. So this here and let's read. All right. We're gonna start at people think failure is irreversible.
Who doesn't see a mistake as the enemy? That's, that's true. 5. People think failure is irreversible. It's not. There's an old saying in Texas, it doesn't matter how much milk you spill as long as you don't lose your cow. In other words, mistakes are not irreversible. Keep everything in perspective. The problems come when you see only the spilled milk and not the bigger picture. People who correctly see failure take it in stride. Mistakes don't make them want to give up. Success doesn't make them think that they're set up. Every event, whether good or bad, is one small step in the process of living. Or as Tom Peters acknowledges, if silly things were not done, intelligent things would never happen.
Okay, look at what Tom Peters say. Acknowledges if silly things were not done, intelligent things will not happen. Let me go ahead and highlight that for us because I think that's super important. So he says that it's kind of like what we say sometimes: cup half empty, cup half full. It's either or. Both things must happen. Uh, we might see the cup half full one day. We might see it half empty the next day. The situation is that whether it's good or bad, whether whatever situation we're going through, that's just part of life. That's what it's just, it has to happen that way for us to learn, for us to grow, for us to understand, have a different perspective on life. Things must happen. And as a Christian, of course, I see it as God's hand at work. If you're not a Christian, then of course it's just part of what happens in life. Things would happen to you, whether you're looking, you bring it up on yourself, whether you stumble upon a situation, whether things just happen. That's part of who you are, and that's how part of who I am, and that's part of how the world is. And we just got to get over it and just not stay in just one moment in life and continue to grow and continue to build from there. Let's continue to read.
Happen. 6. People think failure is a stigma. It's not. Mistakes are not permanent markers. I love the perspective of the late Senator Sam Ervin Jr., who remarked, defeat may serve as well as victory to shake the soul and let the glory out. That's the way we need to look at failure. The average for entrepreneurs is 3.8 failures before they finally make it in business.
What did he just say? The average entrepreneur fails at least 3.8 times. That's almost 4 times. Before you actually get something going, before you actually get something to work, you're gonna fail at least 4 times. And that's successful people and people that have things figured out. People that are just getting started, we're gonna fail a little bit more, most likely. And that's completely okay. That's completely okay.
Business. When you make mistakes, don't let them get you down. And don't let yourself think of them as stigmas. Make each failure a step to success.
Don't make it a stigma. It's not a stigma. It's not gonna stick. It's not forever.
Success. 7. People think failure is final. It's not. Even what may appear to be a huge failure doesn't need to keep you from achieving. Consider the story of Sergio Zyman. He was the mastermind behind New Coke, something that marketing consultant Robert McMath sees as one of the greatest product failures of all time. Point 11. Zyman, who successfully introduced Diet Coke, believed that Coca-Cola needed to act boldly to reverse its 20-year market decline against its rival, Pepsi. His solution was to stop offering the drink that had been popular for nearly 100 years, change the formula, and offer it as New Coke. The move was an abysmal failure that lasted 79 days in 1985 and cost the company about $100 million.
Now let's take that into perspective. $100 million back then, we're talking about probably anywhere between 200 and 300 million dollars lost on that name change. Imagine how you feel if somebody in your organization or anybody in your life has failed so bad that you lose that amount of money. Or if you have, I don't know, 300,000, $300, $500, it doesn't matter. And somebody makes such a big mistakes that you lose all that money, that's up there, right? And I'm pretty sure they weren't happy about it, but that's not the be all end all.
$100 million. People hated New Coke, and it caused Zyman to leave the company. But Zyman's problems with New Coke didn't keep him down. Years later, when asked if the venture was a mistake, Zyman answers, no, categorically. A failure? No. A blunder? A misstep? A bust? Another word between bust and, something else, he replies. Now if you say to me, the strategy that you guys embarked on didn't work, I'll say, yeah, absolutely it didn't work. But the totality of the action ended up being positive. Ultimately, the return of Coca-Cola Classic made the company stronger. Zyman's assessment was confirmed by Roberto Goizueta, the late chairman and chief executive of the Coca-Cola Company. He rehired Zyman at Coca-Cola in 1993. Judge the results, said Goizueta. We get paid to produce results. We don't get paid to be right. 20.
Wow, that's awesome. He said, we don't get paid to be right. He said, we are getting paid to get results. And he got hired again. Zyman got hired again because they knew that not necessarily what he did was a failure, just the process was not the right one. Now, was that a complete bust, a complete failure? No. He understands that the process would have been better, but at the end of the day, it was not a failure. Failure is not ultimate. It was just a temporary thing for Coca-Cola. They came back to Coca-Cola Classic, and guess what? They made things happen. And we know that Coca-Cola is top dog when it comes to soft drinks. So it's not a failure until you make it a failure.
22. It's all in how you look at it. If you tend to focus on the particular events in your life, try to put things into perspective. When you do, you'll be able to share the philosophy of someone such as the Apostle Paul, who was able to say, I have learned in whatever state I am, to be content. 33. And that was saying a lot, considering that Paul had been shipwrecked, whipped, beaten, stoned, and imprisoned. Throughout everything, his faith enabled him to maintain perspective. He realized that as long as he was doing what he was supposed to do, his being labeled success or failure by others really didn't matter.
Oh, that's a good one. That is a good one. He says that as long as you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, Whatever somebody else says, whether it's failure or success, doesn't matter. What truly matters is if you are in the right path, things are gonna happen. You're gonna fall, you're gonna stumble, but that's completely okay. That is not the point. Whomever somebody might look at you and see your stumble as complete failure. That is not, as long as you are walking towards your goal, as long as you're walking towards what you want to accomplish. That's the true meaning of success. You being able to overcome those uh, personal situations, those stumbling blocks, if you will.
Matter. Every person's life is filled with errors and negative experiences. But know this: errors become mistakes when we perceive them and respond to them incorrectly. Mistakes become failures when we continually respond to them incorrectly.
Mistakes become failures when we continually respond to them incorrectly. So we just got to get the right perspective, learn from them, and overcome them, and have the right attitude towards them.
People who fail forward are able to see errors or negative experiences as a regular part of life, learn from them, and then move on. They persevere in order to achieve their purpose in life. Washington Irving once commented, "Great minds have purposes. Others have wishes. Little minds are subdued by misfortunes."
Oh, I'm gonna highlight that one. Oh yeah, I'm gonna highlight that. He says Washington Irving once commented, "Great minds have purposes. Do you have a purpose? Have you written down your goals?" January 1st came around. I'm pretty sure everybody had some New Year resolutions. Where is it at? Is it in your drawer? You forgot about them already? Or do you have them posted somewhere for you to have purpose, to know your purpose, to know exactly what you want to accomplish, exactly what you want to do in life? Have you done that? Or are you tired? Because I tell you what, you should not, you will not reach your goals if you already gave up. Let's go. Get up. Get up. Have a purpose. Don't just have wishes. Everybody has a wish to be rich, to be wealthy, to be okay, to be financially free. Everybody has a dream, but make it a point for you to get up and work towards it every single day.
Misfortunes. But great minds rise above them. The terrible truth is that all roads to achievement lead through the land of failure. It has stood firmly between every human being who had a dream and the realization of that dream. The good news is that anyone can make it through failure. That's why author Rob Parsons maintained that tomorrow belongs to the failures. Too many people believe that the process is supposed to be easy. The prolific American inventor Thomas Edison observed that attitude among people, and this is how he responded to it. Errors become mistakes when we perceive them and respond to them incorrectly. Mistakes become failures when we continually respond to them incorrectly. Failure is really a matter of conceit. People don't work hard because, in their conceit, they imagine they'll succeed without ever making an effort. Most people believe that they'll wake up someday and find themselves rich. Actually, they've got it half right, because eventually they wake up. Each of us has to make a choice. Are we going to sleep life away, avoiding failure at all costs? Or are we going to wake up and realize this? Failure is simply a price we pay to achieve success. If we learn to embrace that new definition of failure, then we are free to start moving ahead and failing forward.
Oh man, that's amazing. That's amazing, guys. I don't know about you. I'm learning a lot from Maxwell. He says, "Are you gonna get up? Are you gonna keep on sleeping? Because you can sleep all day, but it's not gonna do anything for you. The reality is that you gotta get up. You gotta wake up. And yes, dream is awesome. Dream, because we should dream as kids, because kids dream amazingly. Sometimes we as adults forget about dreaming like we used to. But you can't leave it there. You have to get up. Success is part of success is doable. It's achievable. But remember, look at what he says. Failure is simply the price we pay. Are you willing to pay the price? Are you willing to get up and put your troubles aside and reach for your goals? Get up, wake up, do something about it. Any step is a better step than nothing. Get up. Somebody said to me, I listened, I heard this in somewhere, I forgot, but somebody said that small wins will take you to the big wins. The small steps, you wake up. That's the get up your bed. That's the second step. You want a small win? Do your bed. Make your bed and take it one step at a time. If you're a sales individual, you a salesperson, go out and prospect. If you work and you want to succeed in your work, go and ask questions and do something different. Make sure that you're doing whatever it needs to be done, even if it's a small step at a time. Whatever is better to take a small step forward than not take none at all.
Moving forward on the heels of tragedy. Over dinner, I heard a great story about the price someone paid to achieve success. It all started when I arranged for two friends to meet. Last year, when speaking for Annie Ann's Pretzels, I was talking to Ann Beeler, the company's founder. As we talked, she mentioned in passing that one of her heroes is Truett Cathy, the founder of the Chick-fil-A restaurant chain. Would you like to meet him? I asked. You know him? And responded, a little surprised. I sure do, I answered. When we moved my company, the INJOY Group, to Atlanta in 1997, Truett and his son Dan Cathy took all of us under their wings. They're wonderful friends. I'll arrange for all of us to have dinner together. I immediately set a date, and soon afterward my wife, Margaret, and I had Truett Cathy, and Jonas Beeler, and Dan and Rhonda Cathy over to dinner. We had a wonderful time. I was amazed as Ann and Dan, who is the president of Chick-fil-A International, openly exchanged trade information about their businesses. I was pleased because I could tell they were enjoying a good connection. But the highlight of the evening for me was hearing Truett Cathy tell the story of his start in the restaurant business and how that led to the founding of Chick-fil-A.
It doesn't say specifically directly there, right? But here's the truth: no one reaches success alone. John Maxwell was brought under the wings of Kathy Truett. Truett Cathy brought them under their wings when they moved to Atlanta. So although it's indirectly, one point we can all agree upon is that no one reaches success all by themselves. And I'm gonna leave it here because I think we're gonna start reading an amazing story about the Chick-fil-A, which is an amazing story. So let's stop here. Again, thank you guys so much. You guys are amazing. Um, whatever you guys need from me when it comes to this channel, if you want to come on and read with me or listen to it now, you're welcome to join me. It's pretty amazing what we're doing. We're learning. Today was just a little faster, of course, but again, we don't have no time restriction, no time span. We just want to continue to be able to listen to John, make sure we copy whatever he's doing or whatever he done, so we can learn from him, understand what his steps are, how to fail forward, and hopefully we can build our brand. Hopefully we can continue to learn, continue to build, continue to be better people, not only for us but for the generation to come. And hopefully this is helping. um, I know it's short. I know it's only half an hour to 40 minutes, but I do truly hope that this is helping you. Please come back. Please share with somebody. Please tell somebody about reading with us, reading this amazing channel, this amazing opportunity that God has given us, inspirational reading thoughts. Thank you, and see you tomorrow. Have a great night. Bye bye.